People love talking about motivation. They say, work harder or just want it more. But honestly, most people underestimate how much their environment controls their behavior. Your surroundings influence you more than you realize. The people around you, the things you consume, the energy you live in, the habits normalized around you, to name a few. All of it shapes who you become. And I think one of the biggest lies people believe is that they can constantly stay in unhealthy environments and somehow still become healthy versions of themselves. Because eventually your environment starts teaching your nervous system that that's normal when it's not. Human beings adapt to their surroundings. That is survival. It's a survival instinct that all animals have. And if someone grows up around anger or chaos or criticism or emotional instability, their brain adapts to survive in that way and survive it. If someone grows up in an environment where vulnerability is mocked, they learn to maybe hide emotions or do the exact same thing. If someone grows up around negativity, addiction, manipulation, or constant conflict, those things slowly start feeling normal. Again, not healthy, but normal. And that is a big difference, and that difference matters a lot because people often confuse familiarity with safety. And this kind of goes hand in hand with identity, like I was talking about a little bit before. A lot of behavior people blame entirely on themselves is actually reinforced by environment. Your environment and your surroundings influence your mindset, your confidence, your emotional reactions and habits, your standards even, or even what you believe is possible for your life. And if everyone around you constantly settles for less, you will start to slowly lower your standards too. If you surround yourself by people who constantly gossip or complain or say negative things, that energy eventually affects you in the same way, and you will repeat those patterns. But the scariest part about it is it usually happens really slow over time, super gradual and quiet, without people, including yourself, noticing. And this is why motivation alone usually fails, because motivation is temporary. Environment is daily. You can feel inspired for one night, but if you have an environment that constantly reinforces unhealthy habits, eventually that environment will win. Someone trying to heal while surrounded by toxicity will struggle. Someone trying to stay disciplined in an environment built around destruction will struggle. Someone trying to grow around people committed to saying the same will struggle. And that doesn't mean change is impossible necessarily, but it does mean that environment matters more than people would admit. I think people underestimate how contagious energy and behavior really are. Humans mirror each other constantly. The people around you influence how you speak, how you think, how you see yourself, what you tolerate, what you don't tolerate, how you handle emotions, even what kind of future you believe that you deserve. And over time, you sort of slowly become more similar to what surrounds you the most. And that's why some environments drain people while others help them grow. Now, how do we heal from something like this that we have been around for so long? And the simple answer is healing requires distance. It is one of the hardest truths about growth, is realizing that someone in an environment that cannot support the version of you that you're trying to become will not work. And it hurts because sometimes it's not just places, sometimes it's friendships, relationships, family dynamics, old habits, old routines. But people stay because familiarity feels so comfortable, even if it's damaging them. But healing often requires distance from things, constantly reinforcing the behaviors you're trying to escape. Because you can't fully heal in an environment that keeps teaching your nervous system to survive instead of to live. So, how do we change this? And honestly, there's no simple one right answer, right? A lot of change comes down to building environments that make healthier behaviors easier. That might mean surrounding yourself with better influences, changing routines, protecting your peace, being careful what you consume online. Maybe even creating spaces where growth feels supported instead of punished. Because behavior isn't only about willpower, it's also about what your environment repeatedly encourages. Once you understand that, you stop blaming yourself for every single little struggle and start paying attention to what's shaping you daily. So at the end of the day, and the big takeaway I want you to take away from this is people adapt to what surrounds them. And whether you realize it or not, your environment is constantly shaping your habits and your mindset and your emotions and your identity. And that's why protecting your environment is also protecting your future. Because eventually people become like the things they spend the most time around. I think that's all I have for you guys today. Thank you if you made it this far in the video. I really, really appreciate you. These conversations are never really easy to have face to face, so maybe seeing it in a video might help a little more. I hope this series reminds people that change is possible, and understanding what shapes you is the first step towards becoming someone different. Thank you all. Stay rolly.